KNAC.com. Thanks for checking in. Francisco here. I'm talking with Fernanda Lira of Crypta.
Hey, how are you all doing? Thanks for joining the show.
We are on the Sunset Strip at the Rainbow, just before they're about to take the stage at the Whisky A Go-Go, LA. Welcome back to LA. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing all right. I mean, it can't get any more metal than an interview at the Rainbow, right? So, I actually can't wait for the gigs to start because it's always been. I have a huge list of personal dreams.
Yeah.
And playing the Whisky, it's always been there, so playing the Whisky, and it's a sold out show. It's just
sold out show.
It's just amazing. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, welcome back to LA. Last time you were here, you were supporting Morbid Angel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, that was a fun show, and that was a very fun show. We had many friends there too. Crowd was insane during our set. Huge merch line. I'll never forget that
awesome.
one.
Very cool. Good.
And we're so ready to repeat it, do it again. Actually, this time it's gonna be like a complete show, like full show, new songs from the new album. Right. So it's gonna be another experience. Even for those who watched us back then, it's gonna be like a different thing.
They're here on the Shades of Sorrow tour.
Yeah.
Sole headliner. While a lot of bands are doing the co-headlining thing, you girls said, fuck it, we're going to do it on our own. And a really successful tour, right?
It is. It's been. Like, our agent actually suggested that we did a headlining tour, even though it's smaller or whatever, just for us to really test the ground, like just for us to see how we would be doing in a headlining show here in the U.S. We know as a support, like an opening band, we did great. So now we needed to just check and see how we were doing. And thankfully enough, it's been crazy so far. It's been a crazy smooth tour, but I definitely consider it successful. I mean, lots of people every night. I think today
several
at the Whisky,
several sold out shows.
Yeah, it's. I think tonight at the Whisky, it's like the 10th sold out show in the tour.
That's awesome. Very
of course, we were playing definitely smaller spots than we played with Morbid Angel.
Yeah.
Some are the same, but I'm so happy. It's been really great to see that. We didn't know what to expect with a headlining tour, and now it's been great to just see we do have a fan base here in the U.S. And they're some of the most supportive in the whole world. They've been showing us so much support just through, going to the shows and singing songs out loud and just going crazy and buying lots of merch. It's been so cool. Yeah,
buy that merch. Go to the shows, buy that merch, support them. A really successful run. You're here at the home stretch, the last few days of the show. Last night you were in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I think you'll be in Vegas.
Tomorrow,
in a couple of days?
Yeah, the day after tomorrow. It's going to be Vegas, then Sacramento, then Portland, then Seattle, then we wrap it up.
Yeah. And then you head to Europe, I guess, right? And do more
Oh, yeah, we spent.
You guys are like a touring machine. You guys are touring.
This year is actually going to be our most active year.
Really?
Touring-wise. We've just released an album. There's some stuff we want to do, so we needed to do this headlining tour in the U.S. Now we really wanted to do a headlining tour in Europe too, so it's going to be 15 days after we get home from this tour. Ooh. And then we're going to do a couple of rounds there in Europe for the summer festivals and everything. Yeah. And then there's more stuff to be announced, but I can't talk much right now.
No, it's too soon for a new album. We're riding the wave of Shades of Sorrow.
Touring-wise,
okay. Hopefully I'll be out in Europe and catch one of the festivals.
That would be cool.
But riding the wave of the success of Shades of Sorrow and then Echoes of the Soul, you overcame, I guess, pretty much the whole pandemic, right? One of the albums that was released during that time.
Yes.
You wrote this album, you recorded this album, and released it during a weird time. What was going on in your mind where, besides being hopeful that this would hit, what were you thinking?
Actually, both our albums were written during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So, I knew it was going to take a while, from the news and everything. I was this is going to take a while. So, we also knew that as soon as the pandemic was over and everything was open again, and that the possibility of touring would be a thing again. We knew we would be touring nonstop.
Yeah.
So what we did is like, okay, so since we have to be home, let's just write an album, you know, like we released Echoes of the Soul, and then right after that we started writing Shades of Sorrow.
Oh, wow.
And by the time the pandemic was over and we started touring again, Shades of Sorrow was mostly written already.
Oh.
Like 95% of that.
Okay.
So we wrote like both albums in the pandemic, and that kept us busy. That kept us hopeful and excited with something. Having a project during the pandemic was really helpful for my mental health and for everything. But it was also frustrating. It was the first time ever in my life. I've been in the business for like 15 years, I don't know. And it was the first time ever I had to release stuff, like release music.
Your own stuff.
And just be like sitting there waiting and not being able to play a show to promote it. It was weird. We really needed to reinvent ourselves and like, you know, like in a way of like approaching our audience and actually creating a fan base during the pandemic. It was challenging, but I think we made it.
I mean, I want to speak for a lot of the fans. The sold out shows. I think there was a lot of success with Echoes of the Soul and now Shades of Sorrow. A lot of great success. Great music. And honestly, like one of my favorite death metal bands right now, Crypta. And I try and take every opportunity I can to like tell people, because besides doing what I do with this KNAC, I like just exploring bands, finding bands from like not just LA but like all over the world. So when I heard of you, like before, even when you were with your previous band, and then I followed you, and then Crypta came out, and then like I heard that first record, I was like, my fucking God, this is fucking amazing.
Thank you.
This is what we fucking need, and I love it because like even the guys sometimes aren't even that heavy, and the women are fucking showing you guys what's up. If I can just, you know, I just want to highlight this, like females in metal is the most fucking metal thing because they fucking do it and they do it fucking right.
And it's not easy, man.
No.
People think that I see people saying like, no, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, it's a band, it's not female fronted, it's not all girl band. I raise that flag high, man. I'm very proud of being in an all girl band because like we go through very specific daily battles being women in the metal scene and being women on the road, you know, like it's not the same thing. People think it's easier because like we draw more attention for being women. That's what people said, but not necessarily only good attention, you know, like so it's not easy being on the road, being a woman in a male dominated scene. So I'm proud to say that I'm in an all girl band, and it's not that, you know, like we can do it too.
Oh yeah,
that's all we want to do. Nah, we don't want to be better than anyone. We just want to do our thing. That's all.
And so on that topic, like, were there a lot of female influences for you growing up? Definitely. As you started to like branch into like music and being a musician? Definitely.
My dad is a metalhead too, and since I was a kid, like my earliest memories listening to metal go to when I was like 5, 6 years old, 6, 7, I don't know. And my dad, I have some cassette tapes from when I was like 6, 7, which were like my favorite picks from what my dad was listening. And then he would add some other stuff, and he always made sure there were women there. So my dad introduced me to Warlock, and Leather Leon from Chasten, and Rock Goddess and Girl School, and all these highly inspirational women to me. You know, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't like Doro or Tadia or Girl School. Girl School were the band that showed me like, okay, I can just hit the road with other guys and like have fun and kick ass on tour, because they showed me that was possible. So since I was a kid, I was highly inspired by other women in metal, mainly because my dad made sure I was in contact with that. That is very cool. And then as time passed by, I kept on being like highly influenced by other women in not only in the metal scene, but like I'm a huge fan of blues and soul and stuff. So, you know, like I'm highly inspired by Amy Winehouse, Nina Simone, Beyonce, and Etta James, and lots of other women. I'm always like, because I feel represented when I see them singing, doing their thing. So yeah, they're I could mention like 1,000 different women who inspired me. But yeah,
that's very, very cool. And like you said, you fly that flag high. And,
yeah.
And you mentioned girls' school. Again, we got to mention we're at the Rainbow here on the Sunset Strip. Lemmy was close to the Girls and Girls School. He was inspired by them. So again, shout out to the Rainbow for letting us do this here.
Yeah.
You girls just had dinner. How was your dinner?
It was great. I'm happy that they had vegan options here at the Rainbow. This is really cool. Because I mean, I've actually been here before at the Rainbows when I played with my previous band Nervosa.
Okay.
We've toured, our first tour in the US was 8 years ago. Actually, today, 8 years ago, Facebook showed me I was at Venice Beach. So that's crazy, right?
That's
awesome. Such a similar time, same city. So, but yeah, 8 years ago I've been here. And it was really, really cool. Like I was so impressed with everything, and I couldn't wait to be back here and check it out. And
well, glad to have you back, and thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for bringing the metal to the masses here on a sold-out show at the Whisky. They're about to kill it pretty soon. What was some of your highlights from this tour so far?
The whole tour has been a highlight, to be honest. It's been just really great. We've toured some new places we haven't on the previous tour with Morbid Angel. We drove through, like amazing scenery and stuff like that, and lots of kick-ass shows. Yeah. And the Kentucky shows really surprised me. They were they were wild there. It was so cool, like singing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Some of the best ones of the tour, and we've met so many friends on the road. And we had the metal cruise on the beginning of the tour. That's where the
700,000 tons of metal,
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where the tour started. So that was definitely one of the highlights, because playing that cruise is always going to be like the best experience. But yeah, and tonight is definitely a personal highlight to me too. I have very dear friends coming over from other bands, and it's just so special. Very
cool. And it should be known, sold out at the Whisky. How many times am I going to say this? Wow, there's 2 other shows, big, heavy shows going on.
Exactly. Machine Head and Fear Factory, and which is
Vader,
Vader.
And Origin.
Like
Vader. In the same town, and this show sold out. Yeah. Thanks to LA for showing up, showing them what's up.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. Thanks again for your time. Fernanda Lira, vocalist, bassist for Crypta. Very successful off the Shades of Sorrow.
Thank you.
On their tour, the tail end of the tour. They're about to hit the road more when they get back home. You were talking about influences that affected you. I'm a teacher at a music school. And a lot of the students that we have are younger kids. If you had a message for maybe not just all the students, but like maybe the girls in particular, like what would you say to them that like they're looking to music to, as either a career or even just for fun?
Trust your vision. Our heart knows exactly what we want, and if you pay attention to that, to what makes you glow when you think of, just go for it. It's never an easy road to do whatever you want to do and to be who you want to be, but really just trust your vision, trust your heart, go for it, work hard. Like, people have no idea how much we needed to sacrifice to be here for this big purpose, which is Crypta and living our dream on the road. And just don't care about people say or try to put you down or try to disencourage you on doing whatever you want to do. You have to do what your heart asks. It might be difficult, but it's definitely worth it. So don't give up on your dreams. That's it.
Very good, very good. Now, before I let you go, I just want to ask about the first couple of records. The first record, it was written during the pandemic along with Shades of Sorrow. Was that a lot of it was done with Sonia, I guess, when she was in the band. since she's left, like, did it change? And now that Jessica's in the band, how much of an impact did that have with her leaving and then Jessica coming in?
Musically, not a lot, because the album, when Jessica officially joined the band, the album was written already, Shades of Sorrow. She contributed with her solos, but the whole album was written already. So it sounds different from Echoes of the Soul, because Sonia didn't write it with me, but with us, but Taina did, and Taina hadn't written for Echoes of the Soul. So that is the big difference. On the first record, Taina didn't write it with us, and on the second one, she did. So that is the main thing. That's why it sounds different. It was a whole different way of writing music and a different approach on death metal with Taina. And but then live, I mean, the whole thing, of course, changed when Jessica joined. She's a very nice partner to be on the road with, and she brings a lot to the band. Yep. Not only musically, I mean, like technically on stage. Her solos also like gave definitely a glow up on the songs. But overall, she's just like very proactive, and this is very important because Crypta demands so much, especially of me and Luana, who kind of manage the whole thing. Yeah. So it's always good to have people who, you know, like want to contribute with ideas and everything. Like on the same page with you. Yeah. And yeah, so overall, she contributed a lot to the band. And live, we only had one show with Sonia, and then the rest was with Jessica. So it's really hard to compare. It's two completely different worlds. But she definitely brought a lot. But musically, I think people will be more able to understand like how this current lineup sounds on the next album, because then the four of us will be writing it, and not just me and Taina mainly with the melodies and Luana on the drums and also on some melodies. Then it's going to be the four of us. Then the next album, then you're going to be able to hear the sound of this current lineup. I can't wait. You're going to have to wait for a little bit. We're still enjoying the fruits of... Yeah, I'm telling you, these last two albums, great success. No, like, write it out. I love the success that you've gotten from these two albums. Thank you. It shows with the crowd. And what I love, and too, like, me and Thomas were talking about it, it's cool that you're so personable with everybody. You took the time to, like, come out, you know, and take photos and sign stuff like that. And that's important. That's very important, where bands are like, oh, we're going to just hang out on the bus and they don't want to talk to the crowd. Yeah, but you take part in, like, you know, being connected with the crowd. I understand that is not always possible for all the bands, because there are bands who are just too big. And then, like, if the person steps out the bus, it's going to be, like, a huge crowd. And they're human, too, you know? Like, sometimes they need space and everything. So I'll never judge. But in our case, like, we're still, like, a small band, you know? Like, so it's I like being very accessible, because if someone's responsible for me being here, living my dream and doing what I love, it's the fans. Right. So in my case, since it's still not overwhelming, like it might be for other bands, to me, it's actually a pleasure to be outside or by the merch table, just hanging out with the fans, because they're literally the reason I'm here. Yeah. You know, so I think the least I can do back is just like showing them some love and gratitude for everything they allow me through their support doing. You know, like, so that's it. That's why, and also that's me. Like, I can be a very social person most of the times. Like, I just love hanging out and talking to people. So to me, it's just an extension of my personality with people I indirectly love, which is the people who support me, you know, like listening to her music, going to the shows and buying merch and everything. So if I can just go outside and give them a handshake and say, hey, thank you. When possible, not every day is possible. Sometimes we're in a rush, sometimes we're having bad days. It happens with all of us, but that's it. Very, very cool. Fernanda Lira, bassist vocalist for Crypta here in LA, about to kill. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Shout out, horns up to everybody in the Crypta camp. Any words that you want to say to everybody in departing, you know? Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for the opportunity of being here. I think media in a general way and what you do is essential for the bands, because you're a very important bridge between what we have to say and want to say and the fans. I think you're a very important connection between us and the fans. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
And for everyone watching, thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting Crypta. Thank you for supporting Brazilian metal. And thank you for keeping the metal flame burning. And thank you for supporting art. Since we mentioned the pandemics, we've been through tough times, and we learned how to live without many things. But if there was one thing we did not spend a day without consuming, it was art. We were always listening to music, watching movies, series, books, whatever. So we saw that art can really keeps us going in dark times. So let's keep on supporting it and valuing it, because it's the best thing.
Totally. Bye. You know, these are hard times, but Fernanda Lira, thank you so much for your time. Crypta about to destroy the whiskey. See ya from the Rainbow. Thanks, Thomas. Cheers.